Okay, everyone, we are going to go ahead and get started for the evening. Thank you all so much for being here. We have a reasonably full agenda this evening, so let me go ahead and just drop that into chat for anyone that would like to follow along. Otherwise, we'll get started with the normal items. If this is the first time you're joining us, we just ask that everyone stay muted unless you're presenting or asking a question, just so we can make sure there is no feedback. And if you forget to remute yourself, I may take care of that for you. Again, just to make sure everyone can be heard. Otherwise, we will get started here with our treasurer's report. So, Dan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jess. All right, now the fun part. Okay. Okay. So share that. All right. So overall, our accounts are looking pretty good compared to this time last year. We have about 24,000 between our checking and savings, kind of big bump since the festival is over. So like I said, kind of similar to how we were in the past. Overall, though, with our income statement this month, we had a slight loss, just around $1,500. And then overall for the year, we are sitting right around $1,200 as net income. So not as good as we were last year. Last year we just made a little bit more money with the festival than we did this year, but overall we're still in the positive. So that's a good thing. Um, Comments, questions, concerns. Okay.
So what's the difference between this year and last year in terms of how much we made at the festival compared to the expenses?
Um, I think last year, Jess, I think this year we made around 6,000. Last year we made around 9,000. Is that right?
I think that's correct, which of course
Yeah.
I'm attributing primarily to the heat for the day. But otherwise, yeah, that's the biggest difference. And last year, I'll note as well, last year was quite literally record breaking for us at the festival. We had never come even really close to that level of fundraising at that event before. So, pretty incredible numbers. But honestly, even this year, if you were at the festival, I'm sure you know this already, but pretty amazing day, very successful for everyone. So still had a very successful fundraiser, even though it's less than last year's.
Yeah. And David, last year, the end of August, we had a net income of just over $6,500. So we spent a little more on the festival this year, and we also just didn't make as much, but as we did in the past. But I think compared to 2021, we were I think around negative $2,000, if I remember correctly. I had to pull the old files, but so yeah. There questions? Okay, I will
Great.
stop sharing.
Thank you so much, Dan.
And then
Okay,
me.
folks. We're going to move on tonight. So we have a zoning presentation this evening, but there's a little extra to it. So the folks who are here with that project, we'll have our normal presentation, which is 5 minutes to present, 5 minutes for us to collect questions, and then 5 minutes for those questions to be answered. But we are going to allot an additional 5 minutes before the presentation, just for those folks to share an update. This is a site and a project we have seen before for variance applications. So folks who are here, if you'd like to get started, you'll have again 5 minutes just to share any extra updates that you might have. And then at that end of that 5 minute period, Dave, that's when Tate will have you kick in to give the presentation for the actual variance portion. So Tate's going to have our timer for the first 5 minute period. And yeah, take it away.
Great. I won't take your 5 minutes, and I'm Laurie Sutherland with Community Housing Network. We're the developer. I appreciate you giving us extra time on your agenda. And Mike Primo's here from Community Development for All People. So you are familiar with the site. Community Development for All People is selling the site to Community Housing Network. We are the developer. We're proposing to develop an apartment building that's very similar in configuration and location on the site to what Community Development for All People had proposed. We are proposing 61 bedroom units, an apartment building holding 61 bedrooms. The folks that be living there are technically have a mental health disability and may have experienced homelessness or be at risk of homelessness, which the update is that we've received our tax credits. So yay, it's no longer a pipe dream. It's going to happen. So we received that notification in May. Our goal is to start construction in the spring of 2025. And then these days it's taking 15 to 18 months to complete construction for a 3-story building, which it will be a 3-story with a flat roof, looking similar to Jenkins across the street. The parking variance is to reduce the number of parking spaces down to 20. Our residents, because they are low income, typically do not drive, don't own cars. And that's one reason we love this site, is because it's so close to the bus. So our residents be able to still get to all the places they need to, and there's many amenities right within a mile of the site that they can walk to or get to easily by bus. So our experience is that 20 spaces for 61 bedroom apartments of folks with this background and income level will be fine. So that's why we're requesting that number for the variance. I don't even think that took a minute.
That was
Great.
crazy, Lori.
Thank you so much, Lori. We appreciate that. I'll go ahead and pause the timer. Just we're good to go right ahead to the 42 West Jenkins, correct?
Yep, you
Perfect.
can head right in. And folks, if you're attending for the first time and you've never been for one of our zoning presentations, it's a little bit different. So we're just going to make sure the applicant has 5 minutes to tell us about the variances. They're asking for a total of 2 variances. So they'll share that information. When they're finished, then we're going to take 5 minutes. We'll collect your questions. We will hold off on having them answered until the end, just in case, so there's no duplication or anything like that. So take it away.
David, feel free to share your screen for whatever you need to present, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Thank you, Tate. I'm ready.
You should be able to. So go. Yep, perfect.
There we go. Okay. I will cut through this with Lori's introduction. I'll cut through the slides. We all know where the site is. The pending application is Council Variance 24106, and aerial photo of the site outlined in red. South High Street is on the right. The site fronts on Jenkins Avenue, which is technically an alley, according to the city, as a 30-foot right-of-way. So we have, that's the site outlined in red. It has some frontage on West Neff. Also, the building is also gone. This is an older aerial photo. Okay, I prepared the zoning summary. Lori already touched on this. In 2021 and 22, early 22, Merion Village and the Southside Area Commission heard the application of Community Development for All People to rezone the property to the AR2 district. That was approved at City Council. There was also a variance at that time in December of 22. That variance had 2 site plan options included in the ordinance: 70 dwelling units with 83 parking spaces tied to a site plan, and 53 dwelling units with 74 parking spaces tied to a site plan. Since that time, Community Housing Network will be buying the project, and we have the current application pending to change the site plan, which I'll show you. And Lori's project is 60 dwelling units with 20 parking spaces, which results in less paving and more green space, and Community Housing Network does not need that amount of parking. So I'll go through this quickly. This is option 1 of the Community Development for All People. The building was pushed farther west and larger parking lot. This was option 2. And this is the Community Housing Network site plan, similar L-shaped building, fronting Jenkins, access on Jenkins through to Neff, and parking oriented as indicated with the 20 spaces. These are draft renderings from Berardi Partners. I'll just cut through this quickly. You can come back if anybody would like me to. Materials, and then let's see. I'm gonna X out of this and bring up something else. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so this ordinance for Community Housing Network does 3 things. It makes the Community Housing Network site plan the required development plan. It includes a new variance for minimum number of parking spaces. Both of the site plans for community development for all people also had parking variances. This is being recited, so to speak, because it is more of a variance to reduce to the 20 parking spaces. And then the building will front on West Jenkins. As I indicated, West Jenkins is an alley per the zoning code. This variance was included in the community development for all people, but I'm reciting it since it will be a new ordinance. So that's what we've got.
Great. Thank you so much, Dave. We appreciate that. At this time, I will go ahead and share my screen. I have a question sheet ready so I can type those questions. In the meantime, go ahead. Feel free if you have any questions, either type those in the chat or raise your hand and Jess will call on you to get those questions answered. If you like me, you will put it in the chat because that's a lot easier for me to hit on the sheet. So give me 1 second while I pull this sheet up and we'll go from there.
And if you are not able to put your question in chat, or if you aren't able to get the hand feature, raise feature to work, please feel free to just unmute yourself and jump in with any questions.
Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Great. And Dave, those should be the correct variances. Is that correct?
You got it. Word for word.
Okay, we've got one question in chat so far. Don't see any hands raised. Just another minute here to allow for folks to ask any questions they might have. And I'll add a question. Tate, forgive me for not putting it in chat. And I completely recognize my question is not specifically related to the variances, just out of curiosity. Just curious if there are any other amenities that will be on the site for the residents, since you'll be potentially saving space and not needing to include as much parking. Just curiosity. All right. Any other folks with questions? Okay, if that is the case, we're going to go ahead and proceed. So Dave, if you just want to respond to those questions on the screen, if anything else does come in to chat while Dave is answering, we'll certainly add them, but otherwise, feel free to go ahead,
Yeah,
Dave.
I can't read them. They're not large enough, or my specs aren't strong enough. I think
There
some
we
of them
go.
might be more.
Is that better, Lori?
Yes. Um, those, at least the first couple are more CHN, CHN, excuse me saying it that way. We've been doing permanent supportive housing, serving this population for 15 years now. We have buildings that are 15 years old, and that's what we found through our experience. We used to have more parking, and it was useless asphalt that we had to maintain. So it's experience, and I would also add that there is space on this site to add more parking on the north driveway if it was needed. When it asks, is this ratio found in other all people properties? It is found in many community housing network properties around the city. Other amenities. I'm sorry.
I'll add to the parking, Lori, that Merion Village, all of these projects go through review with the City Division of Traffic Management and also with the Division of Parking Services. And there are key differences on the community housing network properties versus regular apartments, as per question number 4, in that Laura, you can explain the financing better than I can, but you're committed to providing this housing for 30 years, and you have considerable operating experience. Number 2 and number 3, it's been reviewed by multiple city agencies and supported at least 15 times on the projects I've worked on for you.
Yeah, the city staff, they know our track record, and they if we had to add parking, then they would know that. So yeah, we want to provide everything the residents are going to need. We don't want to develop something that doesn't have adequate parking. As far as amenities on the site, We will have inside the building fitness room. But as far as the parking, there's bike room where the residents can store their bike, outside bike parking, with a picnic shelter with a little grill. That's not really related to parking, but it's still something that's our residents really enjoy. Inside the building, computer room, community room with kitchen. So they'll be doing a lot of socializing and activities on site. They don't include a car, but uh, there's services there and activities there. And as I said, it's pretty close to the bus. And they also will have case managers. So if they need to get a doctor's appointment or go someplace that isn't readily accessible by the bus, they'll have help with that also. What stops the department from low-income specialty housing and regular apartments, the tax credits. We sign a restrictive covenant that for 30 years it will serve this population. And in the restrictive covenant, it tells the income levels of the individuals that will live there and the restrictions. So there is no way it can go market rate for 30 years. These are great questions.
Thank you very much, Laurie. Anyone else have any final questions? And if you are ready to vote, if you're a current member and you're ready to vote, you can just follow the link that I have there in chat and go ahead and cast your ballot. We'll take any final questions while folks are getting their votes in.
Are there any remedies I need to make to my answers? Dave, make sure I did justice to your comments there on the second one. Other than that, I think I captured everyone's pretty well.
Well, not really to the answers, Tate, but this is a under B, key differences on community for all people properties. This is community development for all people is the property owner selling to community housing network.
Okay.
So this is the community housing network project.
Gotcha.
And Mike, I see your hand is raised. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say we are strongly in support of this project. We would not have been selling this property were it not for CHN's reputation and their ability to deliver housing of this type with excellence. So that's the reason why we're selling to them, is because they're so good at what they do. And we know that this is going to be a blessing for the, especially for the residents who are going to get spaces there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right. Looks like the votes are coming in. Is there anyone else that needs some additional time to vote? Okie doke. All right, let me go ahead and get those numbers for everyone. And following the meeting, we will go through, verify that everyone that voted this evening is a current member of the association before we pass this along to the area commission formally. But I am going to just share with everyone the ballot counts we have thus far. So let's see here. All right, so we had a total of 7 votes for each item. On item 1, which you can see here on Tate's screen, which is to reduce the parking required, we had a total of 6 votes in support, 1 vote abstained, and 0 votes opposed. And for item number 2, regarding the frontage, we had a total of 7 votes in support, 0 votes opposed, and 0 votes abstaining. So both of those items do pass our recommendation process, and we will pass that along to the area commission for the information they need for city council and their process as well. So thank you all so much for being here and presenting, for sharing these updates with us. Anytime you have more updates that come through as the project progresses, we'd love to, you can pass those along to Tate and he can always share them at a meeting. So we love to hear about projects, especially as you mentioned, Lori, since they can take probably a couple of years to complete. We are always happy to hear if there are updates or things happening. So
Groundbreaking.
yes, that is always the best first step.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, again, thank you all so much for being here this evening. All right, folks, thank you so much for participating in that process, getting your votes in, and asking your questions. And we will jump on here to our next item tonight. So board elections. So it's that time of year. Every year in October, we announce nominees for any of the open board positions. And at next month's meeting, we will be voting for those. So we have a little bit of a tricky schedule this year because we had some changes to the bylaws earlier this year and folks voted to realign some of the election terms so that we didn't have both president and vice president always running in the same term. This year for this election, the roles of president are up for a 2-year term. Vice president is up for a 1-year partial term, and then vice president will run again next year for the normal 2-year term to start that cycle over. And also tonight, we have the member at large open for its normal 1-year term. So neither secretary nor treasurer are on the ballot for this cycle. So I'm just going to run through the nominees that we have for each of those roles. And if there is anyone present tonight who is a member who is interested in running for any of those roles, this is your last opportunity to nominate yourself before we close nominations at this meeting and then proceed to the actual voting next month during the monthly meeting. So let me just pull up my information here. All right, we'll start with president. So for the role of president, again, for a 2-year term, which will commence January 1st, the nomination we have is for Jess Norman, which you probably realize is me. So I am running again, and I certainly hope that I'm able to continue serving everyone and serving the association if you all choose to reelect me. I appreciate the election votes I've had thus far in past elections and just everyone's support over the last few years. I guess I've been president for nearly 6 years now. And prior to that, I was vice president. And first, I started as secretary. So it's been quite an adventure and one I look forward to continuing if you will have me. If you don't know me, I've been here in Merion Village with my husband since 2013, but I was actually born and raised a South Sider, or as my family and I would say, a South Ender. So I am a lifer. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm just happy to get to be involved in my neighborhood and get to add a little something extra. So, anyone have any questions for me? Okay. All right. We'll move on to the vice president. So running for vice president, we have one nominee. And our nominee is our current vice president, Lauren Larrick. So Lauren is running for a 1-year partial term. There she is. Say hello to Lauren. So Lauren, I will let you take the floor and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. I have several dogs on me if you can't see, but I've been vice president now for a few years. I've been on the board all 7 years I've lived in Merion Village. So hopefully we'll continue in that tradition. My husband and I live on Moeller with our four fur babies and can't wait.
Thank you so much, Lauren. All right, and the final position that is open for election is once again member at large. Member at large is always a 1-year term, so it's a great way to jump in if you're kind of interested in getting involved but aren't really sure where you want to get started. As of this moment, we do not have any nominees for member at large. Our current member at large, Zach, has a new member of his family who is quite small and needs lots of care and attention, so he's going to be focusing some of that extra energy he has as a new parent on family life. Zach has been an amazing volunteer and an amazing board member. He will continue to be involved as he can, but he has chosen not to rerun for member at large this year. So we will open the floor. If there is anyone who would like to nominate yourself for any of the 3 positions that are open, president, 2-year term, vice president, 1-year partial term, or member at large, 1-year term, please feel free to unmute yourself, say hello, and let us know that you would like to add your name to the nomination pool. We'll just give everybody just a minute or so to decide if that's something they'd like to do.
Hi everyone. My name is Brittany Hines. My pronouns are she, her, and I am actually going to be a new resident of Merion Village. We closed on a property last month and we'll be fully moving in a couple weeks. So this is my first meeting. I am really interested in getting involved. And so the member at large position is of interest of me. And so I know I'm very new, but this is something I'm very passionate about. I studied public policy for my master's at OSU. So this is very much something I'm interested in. So I'm happy to answer any other questions. I know this is very new, but I'll throw my name out.
Welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I have not checked. Are you currently a member of the association, Brittany?
Yes, as of this week.
Fantastic. Okay. So based on our bylaws, the election would not be held for another month as long as you are a resident within the Merion Village boundaries at that time and a current member, which it sounds like you are, then you would be eligible to run for that role. So
Excellent.
awesome. Well, folks, anyone have any questions for Brittany, who is our nominee now for member at large?
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'll just ask, so what made you guys choose Merion Village?
We have a handful of friends who live in Merion Village, and we are in Grandview. Handful of friends that are in Merion Village and have just ever since we've been visiting have just been very attracted and fall in love with the culture and the community. And our realtor brought us a property there, and we visited and said, "Yeah, that's it." So
it is easy to fall in love with Merion Village, and I say that without any bias whatsoever. So well, wonderful. Well, welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you for your nomination and thank you for being a member. So, folks, those are our three nominees. Jess Norman running for president, Lauren Lyric running for vice president, and Brittany Hines running for member at large. So, everyone who is a member, please do attend our meeting next month so that you can vote for everyone on the ballot.
I'll
Okay.
add that I also became member at large when I was sort of
Yes.
recruited at my very first meeting, and I'm still here, so it can work out. So that's wonderful to see your interest and welcome to the neighborhood.
As David is now faithfully serving as secretary and has been an amazing board member for the last how many years, David?
I guess I would have run in the fall of 2021.
Okay.
So I started in 22, 23, now it's 24. So yeah, this is my third year on the board.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. Very excited about that and looking forward to next month's election. So let's move on to our next item here. We'll touch briefly on the Info Center fundraiser. So we do have a fundraiser open until the end of the year. We are raising additional funds just to spruce up the Info Center. We are adding Wi-Fi to the space, some new access panels at the front to make it easier for folks when you have a reservation at the Info Center. And we'd love to do some additional things just to help make this place even better for those using it. Maybe some weatherproofing, some paint touch-ups, quality of life improvements for the center. So you can visit our website to participate in that fundraiser. We'll also have some posts on social media about that. But we appreciate anyone that is able to contribute and look forward to getting it spruced up. The board will actually be doing a nice deep clean of the center here in about a week or so to get it all ready for new reservations after the very hectic festival season. So thank you in advance to all the board members who are helping with that, and which is everyone, and look forward to getting it ready for folks again. Let's talk about the winter potluck. So we have secured the date for our annual winter potluck. If you're kind of new to the association, we do not hold a monthly meeting in December unless there is a zoning item that needs to be addressed. Then we will hold a special meeting for that. But as of right now, our December meeting will not go forward, and instead we host a potluck where we can have an opportunity for everyone to come together, see your neighbors, check in with folks, and kind of just enjoy some good times and good food and good company. So the potluck is going to be on Friday, December 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. And we will once again be hosted by the Hey Hey at the corner of Whittier and Bruck. I think I got that. Yep, it's Bruck. Hey Hey has hosted us for many potlucks in the past, as well as our chili cook-off that we do in March for the scholarship. They'll have the whole back room ready for us, so we really appreciate them for making that available for us again. And we do have a reservation link up. I will actually post that really quickly here. If you'd like to RSVP to the potluck, this helps us know how many folks are going to attend and also helps us to have a good spread of dishes to share. So please feel free to jump in, RSVP, let us know what you'd like to bring. If you're a member, you should also have this link in your email from a couple of days ago, just letting you know about the potluck and getting that on your radar. So looking forward to that event. Hope to see everyone there and be a great opportunity to meet new folks, especially if you're new to the area. All right. Committee updates. Don't have anything this evening for beautification. If someone is interested in a beautification project and spearheading that, please let us know. We'll help support those efforts. Nothing new for membership, except that if you have not yet updated your membership in our new system, please make sure to log in and do that. You should have an email coming forward in the next day or so, letting you know how to do that if you missed it in May. You do have the opportunity now to set up your membership for automatic annual renewal, which I was very quick to sign up for because I don't like needing to remind myself each year. And you can also choose manual membership renewal as well. But we are very happy to have that system available now. And that is just a reminder for folks that if you've not yet set that up, please do make sure to do that, as many memberships will expire at the end of this year that were on our kind of previous term. Memberships will now just renew each year whenever you sign up. But if you are part of that kind of legacy group, please make sure to get signed up for renewal of some form. Let's see here. I don't think we have anything else for zoning, right, Kate?
That is correct. There was one demolition notification that we had.
Okay.
The objection period did pass. It was for 358 East Etchler. I did do some research, and there was no historical value or anything to the property. And I do have a street view pulled up if we want to see that, but it was just for a dwelling. Like I said, the objection period did pass, and I did not hear anything from Kathy that there was any objections from anyone in the village or the Southside Area Commission. So if there's any questions, I can go forward. If not, I don't think we need to spend too much time on that.
Does anyone have any questions about that demolition? All right. Well, thank you so much, Tate, for that. And Mike's got his camera on because he knows that I'm going to ask next if there's anything to discuss on the social front.
Yeah, I feel like I'm usually first.
I know, I gave you a minute there to prepare.
Yeah, my apologies. We've been traveling a lot, and I did not plan anything for October. But that doesn't mean that I won't, because I love October. It's great for breweries and whatnot. So, I'll be in touch, Jess, and if I can get something together, we'll throw it on the socials and whatnot.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Mike. Okay, perfect. All right, so we will move on here. We do not have any Southside Area Commissioners with us this evening, so unfortunately no updates to share on that front, but if we receive anything, we'll certainly pass it along. And let's just run through here the list of all of the upcoming community events. So our autumn yard sale is coming up this weekend. So we have a total of 33 houses registered for the yard sale, and there are certain to be even more sprinkled out throughout the neighborhood. So you can go to our website to get the map. Here, I'll just drop that link right here in chat. We've got the map published. We have both a live Google map that you can interact with, as well as a PDF listing that you can just print off if you prefer to shop that way. But again, there are 33 houses registered for the sale. We're hoping for beautiful weather. Maybe we'll get an actual taste of fall and some sunshine and no rain, hopefully, even though we need rain. Not that day. We'll take that day off. And then the sale is from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Immediately following the sale, our secretary, David, and our treasurer, Dan, will be down at the info center from 3 to 5 p.m. to accept donations for Goodwill. So it's a great opportunity for spring or autumn cleaning. If you've got some items that you'd like to donate to Goodwill, clothing, shoes, housewares. We can also collect e-waste. So if you have any old laptops and tablets, phones, broken Christmas lights, things of that nature, we will have a separate bin where we can collect your e-waste items as well, which is really exciting to have that available. It's a great way to get a bunch of stuff out of your house at the same time. So please do check our website. You can go to that yard sale link where we've got full lists of what is accepted and what isn't accepted. Tube TVs and monitors, for example, are not accepted. We also cannot accept furniture at this sale due to space limitations. So please do check that list before you stop in. And again, you can make those donations at the info center at 1330 South 4th Street between 3 and 5 p.m. And just please, I'm sorry, we cannot offer receipts because Goodwill will not be present. So if you do make donations, just keep that in mind. So thank you to David and to Dan for staffing that. And thanks folks for coming down and helping us fill up the bins. See here. Moving on, the Southside Area Commission has their next monthly meeting Tuesday, October 22nd, starting at 6:30 p.m. and they'll be at the Parsons Library. So if you'd like to join them for that, they do meet in person. Our next monthly meeting, of course, is Wednesday, November 6th. That is Election Day. So join us here at 7 p.m. if you'd like to vote for the candidates that we announced this evening. and also
Also
that
the
is our
day after
last.
big election day.
Yes, it is. I think we'll all have a little bit of election fatigue, but you can just come and vote for your local Merion Village representatives, and hopefully it will be a much less painless process. We won't have long lines either. Um, Also, that will be our final meeting of the year. So make sure to check in so that you can get the scoop for the end of the year and kind of check in and hear about what we've got coming up for 2025. Last but not least, I did mention already, but I'll do it again. Winter Potluck is Friday, December 6th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Hey Hey. Very much looking forward to that. Please do make sure you RSVP if you can, again, just to help us be more prepared. Okay, I'm going to open up the floor as we usually do. If anybody has any questions, comments, if you'd just like to say hello or introduce yourself, anything you might like to share, please feel free to unmute yourself, jump in. Just leave the floor open for another moment here.
I have a quick question on the sentiment and process for little free libraries. If that's something that Merion Village is in support of, we want to see more of. I've just always been passionate about opening one, so just wanted to put that out there and see what reactions or sentiments there are toward that.
They're very popular. As far as I'm aware, I know for a fact we have at least one in Merion Village. It's actually at our pocket park at the corner of Morrill and Brook, called Walker Park. And there is a little free library right there. I'm not immediately aware of any others that are specifically within Merion Village, but they are throughout the South Side. There are a lot of really great little free libraries and little free pantries. I
Yes, there's one
personally
on
think they're
Muller, I
wonderful.
think.
Yep, there's one on Moeller and Fourth right there, right by the info center,
Awesome.
actually. Yeah,
I didn't even realize that. That's fantastic. Is it
And
at
there's
someone's
one,
house or a business?
it's in front of the house that's kind of across from the South Bend on Moeller.
Okay, that's awesome. I didn't even realize that.
and
On your
there's
side
one
of the
that's
street.
there's one that's closer to German Village, although I can't remember offhand if it's across the border or not. But I think it's maybe on Gates or Midhoff.
And I know there's one on Thurman, like right across from the Thurman.
I think you're right too, Dave. I think there is one.
Yeah, I think
I
it's
think
just south of Blackberry, so I think it's technically ours. Not Blackberry, whatever that other alley is.
It's at Fourth
is
and
it?
Mid.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say,
Um,
or yeah.
Several years ago, several of us tried to put together like a Google map of like all of the South Side little libraries and little pantries. It kind of went by the wayside, but I would say in general, folks around here are very supportive of them and I think very excited about them. They're always really fun. So and I'm not aware of any type of zoning restriction necessarily that the city might have. I know we certainly don't have anything specific to Marion Village that would restrict that. But that's pretty much what I know is that people seem to love them.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love a little free library. All right. Anyone else have anything they'd like to share? Any questions?
Hi, Jess. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Hi. Just wanted to introduce ourselves. My name is Matt. This is Taylor. This is our first Marion Village Association meeting. So thanks all for
Welcome.
having us and nice to meet you all. Really looking forward to just being more ingrained with this group and the community. We've been living in Marion Village for about 2 years. We just bought on Southwood in January and moved in January. Previously, we were on Freebus. So we're very close to the Marion Village festival there in Moeller Park, which was always great. We had a question about the beautification. I heard you say that there's no one really running that right now, but wanted to get more details on what that all entails.
So the beautification committee as a whole, it was kind of difficult for anyone to take on like an entire committee. So the way that we're operating beautification now is if there's a passion project that you have, for some people they're really interested in, maybe getting new planters. Other people might be interested in street signs or finding ways to just do more cleanups. If there's any kind of project that you're interested in that in some way helps to beautify the neighborhood, we would love to help you kind of spearhead that, get that kicked off and then kind of help you look for volunteers and support that effort. So beautification is anything that you want it to be. You just kind of let us know and then we'll help you take the ball and get it rolling.
Awesome.
We'll brainstorm then.
Yeah. Is that like those little like green planters that you see on the corner of some streets? I was
Yes, so
wondering how
that
those were placed throughout the neighborhood. I was like, someone tried to beautify here and there and there. So we'll come with some ideas and bring it to the next meeting.
yes, those planters actually are quite an old project that was in place many, many years before even most of the folks here tonight. It's not what I would call an active project. A lot of those planters essentially were distributed by the association to businesses or to residents who would kind of take care of them. We don't really have an active list, so we're kind of looking into maybe a process to somewhat retire that project and make
Yep.
those planters more owned by individuals. But if there are new projects or things like that, yes, certainly would be very happy to support those efforts because we all want to live in a beautiful neighborhood.
Yes, absolutely. And thanks, Daniel. Just saw your message. Yeah, we'll come to the next meeting with some ideas and maybe we can brainstorm and kick something off.
Fantastic. And
Our,
hopefully you'll be at the potluck as well, because that'll be
Yeah.
a great chance to meet us all in person.
Put it on our calendar.
Yep.
our board member, Zach, had been looking into, I think, inventorying the boxes. And my neighbor actually might be interested in helping to continue inventorying those and sort of figuring out how to move that project into its next phase of life, like the privatization perhaps of the boxes. So you might be able to have a partner on that.
Okay. Absolutely. Thanks, David. We can connect on that maybe next one or if there's a way to share contact information, maybe I could get that name as well.
You can always email us just at mva@merionvillage.org. That'll get to us. We'll get it to the right person. Reach out through the website, whatever's easiest for you, but absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Also,
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
One
Thank
thing,
you.
just that I want to mention as well, because it looks like we have some new members, which is really exciting tonight. Is one project we've done in the past is to put murals in public art. So if you know on Wanderlust Studio downtown or down here, and then also I'm blanking on the name.
Rumors?
Rumors. Thank you. Rumors. We had those murals put up, and so we had a committee that helped take on that. I know there's been a few other buildings that I've been hearing that might be interested in. So one is Chef Hero, that blue building that I would love to put a mural on because I pass it every day, and I would love to just put something on there. And then I forget there. I think there's another place that I think Sarah had mentioned might be interested. So if anybody's interested in doing that again, I would certainly help with that. But it would be nice to have a few more hands involved. I know Tom O'Gara has helped in the past, but I don't know if you'd be available to help in the future. So if there's anybody on this call that would be interested in getting that or working on a group with that, I think that'd be a great beautification committee to
Yes, that'd be great. Actually, the next year, so 2025, is the 40th anniversary of the Merion Village Association. So we'll be doing some things for Founders Day, but it would be really, really cool if we could get a mural to kind of commemorate that even. Just, 40 years is a long time. Awesome. Well, thanks, folks. Anybody else have anything they just want to share or any questions, comments? Okay. Well, love seeing the new faces tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. Hope to see you again next month and certainly hope to get to meet everyone and see everyone at the potluck. Wonderful meeting. Again, thanks everyone. Go enjoy the fall-like weather we are having this evening and everybody stay safe. Have a good night, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, everyone.